Welcome
to driving
to another episode.
Oh my God, I didn't get it again.
To another episode of
Driving to the Res
with Larry
and
Inelia.
Yay!
A few more episodes, you might get it. Somebody's excited. Must be the new Paradigm's beginning or something.
Well, that's the crowd, man. That's the crowd. That's
Yeah,
the
crowd's
audience.
excited about
Yeah.
it. The crowd's excited about it.
Yeah. It's very exciting stuff. Exciting days, exciting times.
Yes, we had our October 1st surprise.
Yes.
That was quite
October
funny.
1st. So, because of the batten down the hatches information
Yeah.
of getting ready, getting your body and your mind and your spirit all taken care of so you don't have a hard time for the next month or two. I warned people, you need to get settled by the end of October. You have to be settled.
Yep.
And have everything, all your T's crossed and all your I's dotted around your life and your environment.
Yeah, your frequency.
With your EMF stuff covered, protection from EMF at least during the night, so your body can sleep and repair, and food storage so that your body feels happy because
Be safe and taken care of and considered in the process.
Exactly. You may never use the food, but yes, stockpile some food so that your body feels happy.
Then it doesn't matter if somebody says something. It doesn't bother you. You're covered.
Exactly. It doesn't affect you negatively.
Yeah.
So, because of that, Larry's been watching for signs of how things are being orchestrated to make it very unpleasant for the people on the planet.
It's a little hard to miss that one.
And you said on October 1st, there was the
October
first one.
surprise.
Yeah. Can you tell us about that?
Well, it was just what probably everybody already knows, that President Trump and his wife both tested positive for coronavirus.
You have to speak up, darling.
I know it was a
Jason
secret.
can't hear you.
Yeah, Jason.
Making him work hard. Jason's our sound guy. Hi, Jason.
Hi, Jace.
We love you.
Well, she loves
And
you.
your work.
Boys don't say that, We're boys.
Okay.
I like you a lot. How's that?
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Men are working on it. We're still work in progress.
Okay. Well, we love his work.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
So it was quite funny because October 1st, he said, nothing around. It's going to be lowered towards the end of the month, but we could have an October surprise. And we had one at the very first, the evening before October 1st. What's that?
September 30th?
Right in midnight. That's when they released it. Trump and his wife, the president and his wife, both have coronavirus positive. So they have to go into quarantine and get treated. So, that opens the narrative for a couple of different ways for our splits, depending on which side of that split you happen to be sitting on, which kind of a thing you'll start seeing, I guess. I think that might be how it experiences.
Right, yeah. Yeah, it'll be very different depending on where you're at, energetically, your physical body's at, and your emotional body's at.
Right, because we were listening to an interesting little show. It was, I wouldn't put it at the highest frequency level. Joe Rogan and Ron White.
They're bad. And they're totally the Kool-Aid of the government, man. They're drinking it by the gallonful, but they're very funny about it.
It was quite hilarious.
Yeah.
And it was interesting his take.
Honey, if you need to listen to the other side, right, and what they're doing, if you want to find out what they're doing, how they're doing it, that's not a bad way to do it, to listen to these guys, even though they're totally drinking
Degenerate.
the Kool-Aid. And they are degenerate, man.
A little degenerate
but
comedian.
Admittedly so.
They say it. They say this is us.
But not horrible stuff, just...
Yeah, they do have a line.
Yeah, they do have a line. I mean, I wouldn't listen to them if they were totally degenerate. They're just, footloose, drugs and girls and stuff like that.
And comedy, guys and gals being funny together. And I mean, earlier in the week, he'd had a podcast with a couple of his friends who are female comedians, and they're just peas in a pod. They love each other to death, and all of them are a little bit degenerate.
Yeah,
just a little bit.
I mean, even they were shocked about Clinton's joke.
Clinton's joke was giving them.
Even they were
like, that's just a step too far.
And you got to Google that one because we're not going to say it.
I'm not going to tell you Clinton's joke to Joe Rogan. No, it was to Ron White, because Ron White was on playing golf, or was... Yeah, it was to Ron White. Ron White heard the joke from Bill Clinton, and he was a little bit shocked. He
didn't know what to do, He's like, okay.
Okay, and Joe said...
I'm going to go over here now.
Oh, man. Oh, wow.
Just shows you about,
there are levels of...
There's levels of
degeneracy.
Politicians trumpet, man.
Oh, my gosh. But with Joe, it's like one of the things that we're doing, finding your tribe, and
he's totally doing
gathering.
that for his side.
He's totally, absolutely doing that for his group.
Yeah, the comics.
He's creating a ranch. The comedy club. He's inviting all of them to come.
Yeah.
He has a huge pile of money burning a hole in his pocket to create a sanctuary, in a sense, for the comedians to come together.
Yeah.
Have a place to be, to practice their art, work together, and be, comedians together and have a freaking awesome life.
Yeah, because
doing the
all
stuff
of them
they love.
are unemployed right now. Even the famous ones are unemployed right now.
Right.
Because they can't have gatherings.
Right. So he's creating calling his tribe, and they're coming.
They are.
Which brings us to something of the topic that we were considering to talk about, which was creating of your pods.
Yeah.
Because, when you find your tribe or you gather your tribe, other people want to join too, but there gets to be sticky points about it, because there's all different levels of ideas of what are we gathering for? What are we here to do? Why are we here? Is it to protect each other from harm? Is it to create a new paradigm experience? Is it to have a place where comedians can joke around with each other all day long and not be told what not to do or whatever, What is the overriding reason for them to gather? And when you do gather, how do you say who can be here, who can't be here? With the comedians, it was clear and obvious.
Right.
They know who each other are. They recognize each other.
They know each other very well. They know who they like, who they don't like, and they know who they're inviting into their pod.
Right. And one very important quality was they're going to live near each other.
Yes, they're going to live near each other. And that's what we've done at the peninsula too. Yes. Everybody who's come here, and there's more and more coming every day, that we live we live very close to each other. That's right. Yeah,
when we're driving to the res, we're passing by our pod members, our tribe members.
Exactly.
And we go to our tribe.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And the comedy guys, it's the same. They say, if I could live a block away from the club where we work together, that's where I would live. Because that's how much they enjoy each other's company.
They do.
And similar with us, we came to the realization with our Guild of Gaia and our Brides and Grooms of Gaia that there are pods of these groups, and they have interests that are, centered around
Gaia.
a reasonably well-defined high-frequency relationship with Gaia, but perhaps different flavors, right?
Yeah, so like you said, there might be people who are really into butterflies and ants and bugs in general.
Yeah,
and they gather together and they do work for Gaia. With Gaia about bugs.
Bugs, yeah.
And we like crystals and stones and very, very gentle in our collection of them. And there's lots of people who like that and connect with
That's
Gaia.
Another flavor, right?
We even have the Womb of Gaia, which is a massive rock by the ocean.
Yeah.
A secret place, sacred and secret place at the res. And when we were able to bring people in, we would bring our friends in. And when we used to do events, we would bring them to the Womb of Gaia.
And there would be all kinds of journeys too.
Oh, the journeys. 'Cause
Princess
you have
journey
to go.
all the way to
Yeah.
Herculean Odyssey
Heroes.
journey, heroes journeys. Oh my gosh.
Because it depends on the tide. If the tide's high,
Tide and the weather,
oh my gosh,
the
you're gonna
timing.
die if you do wrong. One slip and you're gone.
Yep.
Because we have to climb over millions of big rocks to get there.
And then you're going to a
On the
cave that's
sand.
at sea level.
Yeah.
So if it's high tide, it's half full of ocean swells.
Yeah, and once the wave comes, it's full.
It's full of water. Yeah. You better hold your breath good.
Yeah.
Well, that's the hero's journey version. The princess
That's-
journey version, the tide's
The ones that
completely
I
out.
had. It's lovely. It's not
You walk
cold,
out
it's
into the
not
rocks and look at the pretty
cold.
crabs and
Yeah,
anemones.
to collect the
Collect the
ocean,
pretty stones.
the ocean's glass,
Oh yeah, the sea glass.
sea glass.
And then you get there and it's
Pretty
a
pebbles.
clear path right into it, and the sun's even shining inside, so you don't.
Yeah,
It's not even dark.
even dark.
Right.
And
That
it's so
does happen
shiny.
too.
Yeah, that's my journeys.
I prefer the hero's journey, honestly.
You prefer
Although
the heroes?
I don't mind a princess journey now and then. But the last time I went with a hero's journey person, it was a bit too much for me. Even.
Yeah, even for you, you were like, whoa.
I felt the
don't know
need.
about this.
I felt the need to stand outside and guard the waves, tell them to stay away for a little while, or at least moderate themselves. So, felt like speaking sea language for a little while.
But she's pretty badass.
Yeah, the hero's journey
She's like,
bride
what
of
was
Gaia.
that?
She's not afraid of Gaia.
No, she's like, what was that? Hero's
What?
journey, really?
What did I miss? That was Tuesday.
Yeah. She's pretty awesome.
She's pretty awesome.
And you can find her at mystictwist.com.
MysticTwist.com. Yeah, because she puts a mystic twist on just about everything.
Yes.
Last week, I think it was a mystic twist on a haircut.
Yes.
Did you know that
The
you could-
moon.
Did you know that there was mystic twists to getting your hair cut?
Of course, that's
Of
how
course
she
you
learned
knew.
it.
That's how she learned it, but I should have known. So you can see there's pods, right?
Yeah.
Pods of interesting people who have interested in interesting things together. One of the more important aspects of the pods are a overriding mission or purpose, right?
The why.
The why.
The why has to be really, really focal point of the gathering of your people. And it doesn't matter how many whys or how many groups you have, but the why, if you form one especially, it has to be really strong, otherwise it's not going to survive.
Right. That's one of the experiences we've had over the years. I'm not going to say trying to form groups, because we've formed groups, but invariably, it almost always ends up similarly collapsing.
A lot of groups have collapsed, yeah. I have had experience of groups not collapsing. Walk With Me Now would be one of them.
Right.
Right, walkwithmenow.com. We formed that in 2014, and it has evolved so much since then, because we had no idea how to form a high frequency group, and there weren't any out there. And I was very reluctant to do it, but I just got one day, I told Inelia and Daniela, I said, hey guys, I feel it's time for us to form it and start developing this and trying it out. And at the beginning, it was literally an experimenting community, and it still is. And it has evolved so much. It's amazing. Now it's an amazing place to be. Really, I love it. Every morning, one of the first things I do is to log in there to figure out, check it out and everything. Now there's a Telegram group that's with it. And,
Telegram group started
gosh.
formed. I mean, a lot of things have formed because of it.
Yeah, so it's been quite an adventure, and that has persisted through time, space, and it has evolved and become better and better and better. So yeah, I think that's a great model. But
Well, that's
there's
the
a-
model
there's-
for the non-physical present type.
Right, for presential groups of individuals that do things physically together or live close to each other and meet together, that's a little harder, I think, but it's not so different. Not so different. But the why has to be really important. A focus point of the group. If you figure out your why, you're pretty much set. And also allow for growth and evolution through joy and light and love and learning, you might not think so, but it's like the last thing you think about when you think, I'm going to form a group of my mates and friends. The last thing you think is, I'm going to take a course to find out how to keep and form a high frequency group. It's not something you think about.
Yeah, not really.
Or I'm going to read a book or two, I'm going to learn about this. Most people don't. But we figured it out that, there's something that you actually, we don't have to reinvent the wheel here.
Right, because people have been forming groups ever since people started being people.
Yeah.
And the ways that they stuck together weren't always high frequency. A lot of times, they're low frequency power of the groups. So New Paradigm Process includes collaborative groups, things of a different nature than hierarchical, I guess would be right.
Yes.
So how do you explore a collaborative group with hierarchy when we've been raised in hierarchy? And so, you have a club president, and you have a club treasurer. These are thought of as power jobs where they have the authority, where in a collaborative they might have responsibility.
Yeah, it's very different.
Which is different if you think about it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's one of the main aspects, things that we've discovered really. Responsibility versus power over others is huge difference between the two.
Right.
Yeah. So, like a chairman or chairwoman who is they're there because they are able to respond for the entire group and with the group and for the group and protect the group and basically hold the energy of the group, right? It's a different energy to, I'll be boss now.
Yeah, responsible for the caretaking and the not so much the boundary making, but the structuralizing of the holding the energy, I guess is the best word, right?
Yeah.
Holding the energy of the group, being responsible for that energy being held stable.
Exactly, yeah.
That doesn't mean...
So another example that I just thought about is when we do events, physical events, what happens is, and technically speaking, I've always known how it functions, but I've never put it to words before just now. And the way that it works is when I decide to do an event, I take the responsibility of the energy and the frequency and holding everybody in that high frequency energy bubble from the moment they decide to come until the moment they go home and for a week later. And that's my responsibility as the host of the main person that they're coming to see and learn from in the event.
Right.
And then Larry's responsibility is to help hold my energy and support my physical body. Yes, make sure that, it's like, okay, I'm too tired now, and make sure that I get a good night's sleep, good food, and just basically always gauging their energy levels and making sure that everything's working, and not just me, but actually the physicality, looking after everybody who comes as well, because he is in charge of the food and general taking care of everyone. And then the individuals themselves, they are responsible for having done the work before they come, so that they don't collapse when they're here, right? They don't have ego crashes and things that can happen in high frequency spiritual events. And then also their responsibility is to hold themselves accountable, to stay high frequency, not engage in low frequency stuff, and to leave all their baggage behind. There's a tree outside the shaman shack.
Yep.
And one of the instructions is when you come in, leave all your baggage, negative stuff, hang it on the tree, and then when you leave, you can pick it up and take it with you, or you can tell the tree to use it as compost.
Yeah.
Right? So, yeah, it's that's part of, again, a responsible group. Everybody is highly responsible within an event, and we all hold our responsibilities very, very well, and that's why the events have always been absolutely outstanding and amazing at the Shaman Shack. Right? I mean, the last event was a summit. I wasn't the host, so So for me, it was a completely different experience. For me, it was more like Larry's role of holding the space, physical space, and making sure everybody was comfortable at a physical level. But the responsibility of holding the energy frequency and the why and the information, everything that was shared among all the participants of that summit, which was very, very different and very nice, I felt. So yeah, the groups, and from these type of examples, you know, we can move forward and create the types of pods that we love. And pod because of pod of whales.
Pod of whales, right?
Yeah.
Well, we had formed Brides and Grooms of Gaia as a high frequency group. And the idea behind it from Gaia was to generate and establish a new form of relationship between human and Gaia, other than the one that was before, which was mostly based on exploitative stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we heard
Or
stories.
savior.
Exploitive or savior.
Yeah.
Well, savior came after the exploit.
Yes.
Although they
yes.
probably were relatively closely related.
Yeah, they were.
There was a little exploit,
Yes.
and then there was some savior of it.
Yeah.
So you probably have seen around you the saviors. They're clearly obvious. Tree huggers, all the normal environmentalist roles,
Yeah.
right? Those are the
Greenpeace and the
saviors
whale
of the earth,
people.
saving the planet,
Yeah.
saving that, and the exploiters, you know, the miners and the loggers, and the fishermen,
You're a fisherman.
yeah, the exploiters. And then the next relationship stage, the one that we introduced with Brides and Groups of Gaia, and we have altered the name of Brides and Groups of Gaia because apparently a lot of people have issues with
Being a broom or
being
a
a
bride.
bride or a groom. So, you know, first we tried to call them brooms because who could be objected to being a broom?
Yeah.
But apparently
It didn't catch.
it's not as, I guess, catchy as you might think, calling
Yeah.
yourself a broom. I mean, it is kind of absurd. I agree now.
Yeah, it is kind of absurd.
So now we have a guild of Gaia, and within the guild of Gaia, various physical pods. The physical pods live close to each other. They all basically agree to function with Gaia through our contract with Gaia, which delineates each other's responsibilities. In other words, how to respond to life in a high frequency manner in partnership with Gaia.
And you can take that contract from guildofgaia.com,
Yeah, it's
download it, and print it out and sign it. And this is not a contract between you and us.
Or us,
Okay?
or you
us
and any
you,
guild,
or
or you and
anybody else.
or you and anybody else.
It's basically between you and Gaia. That's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
But
It took 9 months to develop
yeah,
by a whole bunch of people. So
learning how to function as a collaborative
yes,
group.
yes,
And we enjoyed hanging out with each other so much that we took an extra long time to write this
yes.
because we had to argue about the color of the napkins, as Inelia likes to say. We didn't argue, we just had many suggestions.
Oh yeah, many suggestions, and it was beautiful and lovely. And we had a great time. So kind of we didn't want it to end, and
Pretty much.
yeah, but we did. We finished the contract and we put it online, and it's there for anybody to download and sign their contract with themselves and Gaia. So yeah, it's pretty beautiful.
I think it's a valuable document, and it does definitely alter your thoughts of what you are and why you're here on the planet, what you do with the planet, why you're existing here.
Mm-hmm.
You move out of out of exploit into partner.
That's right. And the name bride and the groom, the energy of a bride and a groom or a groom is very specific because it's before they're actually married, right? And before they become man and wife or whatever's, or husband and wife.
It's like a very serious dating.
It's the moment before, right? So it's not a sexual connotations to it, because that's what it is, to get married to another person. But it is that level of commitment of we're launching into life together, and we're equal partners, and we're going to work together to create a heaven on earth, you know?
Exactly.
Yep.
That's it.
That's it.
That's a pretty good thing.
Yeah, it is.
So, go there, check it out, rate it. You can connect with Gaia however you like, sign it,
create pods.
Create a pod, which is a physical group that lives in proximity to each other, also known as a tribe, also known as your pards.
Besties.
Your besties. We're just
bros
trying
and
your
your
bros
sis.
and your sissies. Your sistars, as they like to call themselves. Have you ever met any sistars?
No.
Those are star child sisters.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They're far out.
Okay.
Anyways.
Or soul groups. People like the
Soul
soul groups.
families.
Soul families, yeah. I've been claimed by so many soul families around the planet, you have no idea.
Well,
And they're all right, because
all
my
right.
soul is part of the entire universe, so I'm brother and sister to everybody on the planet.
well, our particular pod is responsible for the website and its upkeep. We're going to try and
Yes.
get a forum operating so other pods, when they're forming, if they have questions or connections, they want to connect, they want to talk, they want to understand, they want to
exactly.
bring in ideas, bring in thoughts, bring in new energy.
Or find each other.
Find each other even.
And we were thinking we're going to put a dating site there too.
We weren't thinking that. I didn't think that.
Yeah, I've heard it several times.
Oh, that's true. You know,
Yes.
many
Yes.
of our brides and grooms are actually looking for
Brides and
brides
grooms,
and grooms.
for real.
For reals. Not that Gaia isn't a real bride or groom. But
like,
you know, a physical human partner.
husband and wives. They're
Yeah,
looking for
husband and
husbands
wife.
and wives.
Brides and grooms looking for husbands and wives. Sounds a little funny.
Mm-hmm.
Gilders.
The Gilders.
The Gilders are seeking mates,
Yes.
but not just any.
No, you have to be high frequency, man.
There's a list,
And there's a list.
and you better meet it,
Yep.
because that person is walking around, and we're just waiting to find them, whoever they are. Yeah, so
Yep.
that's what our pod does. We try to create the environment for that. You know,
For the joining and
for
meeting
the
and
joining,
creation
meeting,
of pods
creation
and
of
couples.
pods, and supporting the pods, and
Yes.
supporting the place for the contract to originate and to, you know, to multiply and prosper. Is that what it is?
Yes.
Okay. Then resistance is futile. Yeah, we have quite a few slogans. As you might notice, our pod is somewhat science
tricky.
fiction-y,
Some tricky.
tricky, and science fiction-y. Okay, crystal-y and caves and beachy.
Yes, beachy.
Yeah, our pod exists on the beach.
Yes.
Yes, totally. So it'd be interesting to find the other pods that form, where they congregate around, like the mountains, like streams,
We're gonna find out,
cities,
aren't we?
like gardens, or
City gardens, probably, yeah.
all different varieties of pods will be forming.
Yeah.
And they will have a common what would be the underpinnings, common undercarriage, common structural
Denominator?
function,
Oh.
which is like generally before it was we are all here to survive, right?
Mm-hmm.
Survival of the fittest and gather as a group because we can survive better as a group, less danger from others. So survival was the predicating underlining reason for all people follow other people and do what they say and try not to stand out. And there's, you know, a whole laundry list of personality traits that accompany survival as the underpinnings of your relationship on Gaia, right?
Yeah.
And those are not all high frequency. Most of them are actually are low frequency, aren't they?
Yeah, a lot of them, yeah. You're right.
So as we've evolved, I guess evolved would be a way to say it, as we have shifted frequency into a different structure, which is not survival, it's partnership.
Yes, and thriving.
Thriving, sure.
Yeah, and enjoying and exploring.
Exploring.
Expanding.
Are you sure we don't need any drama to make it exciting?
No, we don't need drama, man.
No
Drama's
trees falling?
so yesterday.
Drama's yesterday?
Drama is so yesterday.
Do you remember that when you would ask,
And oh my gosh.
what
yeah.
about a high frequency
2010.
reality?
Yeah,
Or
when I went public in 2010, the argument I heard the most about people saying we don't actually want a high frequency paradigm, and I'll say why? There's no drama there.
It'll be boring.
It'll be boring. What am I gonna do? You know?
I remember having that feeling
how
and
am I
wondering,
going to grow without
what are we going to do? Just sit around and
pain?
twiddle our thumbs all day?
Yeah, twiddle our thumbs all day, and how
We
am I
don't
gonna
have
go
any
without pain?
push to do anything?
Yeah, I
we
need
just
push.
exist?
Like a really painful
That's
push
gonna be
for me
so
to
boring
do
so fast.
anything. I know, it's bad, isn't it?
Yeah. So you might have experienced that yourself. Or maybe not, I don't know.
I didn't, no.
I did. I know everyone I talked to did also.
What? That you wanted drama?
No, that they thought that a high frequency existence that didn't have any struggle or challenge. That's what they call a challenge.
Yes.
Struggle is
yes,
challenge.
Yes. Oh, of course, yeah. Tons of
No
people told
challenge
me that.
to it.
Yeah,
right.
tons of people told me that.
That it
I'm
would be
saying
a-
I didn't feel that way. That's what I said. That's
I'm
not
saying
what I
I'm saying I did, and maybe there are other people who also did not, but not anyone I met.
You never met anybody who thought that
Besides you.
they needed.
No, I met everyone I met felt that was that what they needed in life.
Oh, okay, got it. Sorry, I'm getting confused here.
Yeah, I could be confusing.
It's been a confusing day.
I'm complicated.
You're complicated.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm not so simple to understand.
No.
So, is it true though? High
What?
frequency is boring. There's no challenge.
No. So the example that I like to give when people say those things is,
Yes.
okay, is being a mountain climber, climbing a mountain, negative? Is it painful?
Is it low frequency?
It's a low frequency. And they say, no, it's not low frequency. Does it create challenge? Yes, it's very challenging. Does it create using your brain, your muscles in your body?
And reward.
And the huge reward at the end of it? Yes. Alrighty then. So you don't, challenge doesn't equate negative drama and pain, does
Right,
it?
because the challenge doesn't have to be, I can't breathe.
Right.
The challenge can be, there's a lot of structures to create.
There's a mountain there and I want to climb it.
to climb it, and it's massive. It's going to be fun
Awesome.
and fascinating and awesome. We're going to have the best time ever.
Ever.
How is that boring?
That's not boring.
That is not boring.
And if you think about it beyond the planet and in a universal way, then you can see how many adventures, amazing challenges we can go and evolve through to reach the entire universe.
Yeah, if you think about it, you spend so much, 90% or more of your time doing things to survive, like have a job, make money, and put it in the bank and save it and clean up and this and that and the other. That little tiny bit of time you have left is the time that will grow to be the larger portion of your life. There is so much of just your tiny county to explore that you haven't even bothered with.
Oh, yeah, that's just
And your
exploration.
state and your
Yeah.
country, and there's a lot of countries and there's a lot of climates, and there's mountains on all of them and there's lakes on all of them. Well, maybe not in some of them, there might be lakes, but
Or maybe you like to make model cars or model planes, you know.
and maybe you're in a
I used
pod
to-
that makes those.
Yeah, I used to do that as a kid with my brother.
Yeah.
I used to do the model cars with him. He did the planes as well, but I didn't do the planes.
I always wanted to, but
I did
just-
a ship once,
I just
battleship.
I just never did. Jeez, I had a nice
I
battleship
had-
too
I
one
had a-
time
I did a
until somebody
an
blew it
Ameri-
up.
I did an American battleship. My brother made the
German one?
a really
German plane?
famous one, a really
Oh.
famous German ship, the Bismarck. He made the Bismarck, and he did all the German flight. He actually had a life as a child pilot for the Nazis. He wasn't a Nazi himself in that previous lifetime. He was just a kid. And when
He
they
got
ran out
put
of
in an
pilots,
airplane.
they just put the kids on the planes and sent them out. Of course, the Spitfires were so much. I mean, they were older guys and they were good.
And they're experienced.
He didn't even get a shot out. His plane got shot down
So fast.
instantly, so fast, and he died, burned alive going into the ocean or something. But he used to have nightmares about that as a kid, and he described it. And he used to draw the board. What's it called? The control panel.
The control panel, yeah, the instrument panel.
Yeah, he used to draw the instrument panel and everything as a kid, and then one day we were, I don't know, when we went to live in England, that's when he actually saw a real Messerschmitt, and he went ghostly white. So it's like, this is it, and I looked at it and it's like, yep, that's it. It was the identical control panel. I remember it because he used to draw it all the time as a kid. So Yeah, it's amazing, really. Anyway, so you might be interested in making model airplanes.
Okay.
You know, it doesn't have to be complicated. You can have
Doesn't
lots
have
of
to be
pods.
highfalutin.
Yeah, like
Doesn't have to be
low frequency, is it? To make
No,
model
it's
cars,
not.
model planes. It's not, and you can have amazing discussions with these people about the things that you're interested in. And it doesn't have to end up at a bar with alcohol or anything like that, you know, or drugs. And I know the comics, that's the part of their pod is drugs and alcohol, that's for sure, and they're proud of it, you know, but I always discourage people, if you want to become totally sovereign, to stay out of those, because they, especially spirits, alcohol, there's not called spirits for no reason. You will become possessed.
Yes.
And you will find that many alcoholics will actually say, I'm fighting my demons.
Yeah.
They say it. Actually, it's in the vocabulary, it's in the language.
They have an altered persona when they're
Oh my
intoxicated.
gosh, yeah,
It's
totally
a completely different person.
Totally different.
Because it is.
It is, yeah. Anyways.
And how come that generally isn't a better person?
No.
Is there any of them?
No, I've
Is there
never been
any that
attracted to a
get
better
possessed
person.
while alcoholic? That actually the possessed person that they become is better than the other one?
Never. I've never met one that's
How
actually
can that
better.
be? There's a lot of people.
Yeah.
All of them are better than their possessed version.
Uh-huh.
That's gotta tell you something.
Yeah, I know, right?
Because they didn't start all of them as good.
Yeah.
Wow, that's impressive. So I guess that's a good enough reason to avoid that.
Yeah, so exactly, that's what I'm saying. Thank you for summarizing it. Avoid pods that deal with alcohol and drugs. Avoid
Yeah,
those.
just avoid it. I mean, if you're interested in a high frequency paradigm
Exactly.
and a partnership
That's what
with
I'm
Gaia,
assuming here.
yeah, you probably should avoid alcohol.
All alcohol.
Intoxicants.
All alcohol. With that said, I guess the first order of business to remind you would be to go to guildofgaia.com and download the contract and sign it. And it's a contract between you and Gaia.
Right.
Make sure to read it and study it.
Right.
Okay? And if you have a problem with the word bride or the word groom, get over it.
Yeah.
Just stop it.
Just
Drop
drop
it.
it. It's
Drop
your
it, man.
ego crap.
Yeah,
And
this-
firewalls. I mean, you all know how to process
total
that
ego.
stuff.
Just drop it.
Jeez Louise. Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah. Rant over.
Rant
Little
over.
bit of righteous bride. That is one of the one of the common traits of a bride or groom of Gaia.
There's
a bit of righteousness.
They point to righteousness all the time.
Rapidly.
Oh my God, so quick.
Yeah. That's part of the partnership with Gaia that's getting moderated a little bit.
Yes, that's
It's
part of the
allowance,
contract. Is
part of the
to temper your righteousness, basically. Yeah.
You move somewhere out of righteousness, which is forcing your right on another,
Yes, into
when
just
there
being right.
is not any single individual right.
That's right.
There are many rights.
Many rights.
Are there many wrongs? Are there wrongs?
Well, they can be, but you don't have to push it onto another person that they're wrong, right?
I don't know. It just gets a little complicated when we think about it too much.
Before we say goodbye, I wanted to give a shout out to Dan, who sent me a beautiful gold necklace, which is a heart with an amethyst in it, for Mother's Day this year. And it's absolutely gorgeous, and I'm wearing it today, and it's beautiful, the energy and the love and everything around it. It's absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much for this.
Wow, that is very nice.
Yeah. And with that, I suppose we can say bye-bye.
Okay.
Again. You can find my work and my tools and everything at ineliabenz.com.
Yeah.
You can join an already high-functioning, very, very nice pod at walkwithmenow.com.
Right, that's exactly.
It's there for you if you want it. And find us on YouTube and iTunes and all the podcast places. Facebook and Twitter, Instagram, and of course, if you want to get trained and everything official with the iBenz method, go to ibensacademy.com. We're still working on there, but we do have the emergency series to support individuals through this period of time on the planet. And is there anything else, Sally?
Oh, I think there's one other thing.
Okay.
Just one. Isn't that what Steve Jobs used to say? There's just one thing.
Just one thing?
Just one thing.
Okay.
Can you clearly explain to any who have questions what's the difference between warning of a storm coming so that you're prepared and you have a high frequency experience and fear-mongering?
Oh, so fear-mongering is the storm is coming, we're all gonna die, our ship is gonna sink and we're gonna die, drown, and everything's gonna be terrible. That's fear-mongering.
That's fear-mongering.
Batten down the hatches says, there's a storm coming, let's tie down all the hatches so we don't sink. And then we're going to just ride it out, just hang out in deck and whatever, make sure everybody's safe, everybody's got their rain gear, everybody's good, we've got hot coffee going and some snacks to get everybody through the storm, and then we're going to just enjoy the fireworks.
Have you ever had a storm watching and watch the storm roll in and enjoy it?
Yes.
It's exhilarating when you're prepared, right?
Yes, when you're prepared, it's great.
Have you ever had your house blown away while you're in the middle of a storm and you're freezing cold and the rain is blasting you in the face and you don't know if you're going to be eating tonight because you don't even have a place to sleep?
No, I haven't had
that experience either because I never do that.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's the difference.
Exactly, that's the difference, yeah.
Right, okay, cool. Got it. Love you, honey.
Love you too, darling.